Hello, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services sales executives, for our video message of the week. All right, we are going to stay on this path of little tips to drive your business. Today we're going to talk about leveraging listings, to expand new business for yourself. All right, let me start off by sharing a very key statistic with you. And it'll give you a way to think about, when you take a listing, what should happen to create new business. Every listing you take, you should create 2 closings from that effort. Now, in a grand scheme, if you want to have a super goal, you can create 3 closings. Now that includes the closing of the listing itself, but minimum, you should have 2 closings for every listing you take. Now, let me clarify something. When I say have a minimum of 2 closings, I'm talking about from the efforts of that listing and the prospecting you do about that listing. I'm not talking about other business that comes to you regardless of that inventory. So let's stay focused. You take a listing, and that listing, that specific listing, should generate you a minimum of 2 closings. And like I said, you want a super benchmark to hit? Try focusing on 3, but again, a minimum 2. Now, here's the question. What do you do? What is your plan to create new business when you take a listing? A lot of times when we're asked, what do we do when we take a listing? We go right into what we do to service that listing. Very important, but that's not what we're talking about here today. What we're talking about is, what do you do with that listing to create new business? You're getting a double benefit. Yes, you're getting that listing and the opportunity to sell that and make that client happy and build your income. But the key with here is, don't forget about, you have an opportunity to build new business. Watch your process. Okay? I want you to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, to have your process to say, oh, here's what Mark's asking. When I take a listing, I do these 14 things every single time. Now remember a stat that we've shared with you in Real Estate Masters and in different classes over and over again. The 75-25 rule. That is 75% proactive prospecting, 25% passive. So if you're doing passive from mailings, maybe some internet aspects, the key is what is your 75% that is proactive? That is meeting the neighbors, however you want to do it, from door knocking to calling to interaction with high impact open houses. Maybe you're having broker opens in the area and then walking the neighborhood to let them know. Whatever the case may be, all right, don't forget about that 75-25 rule and tie that in to your process. That here are the whatever steps I do. Here are my 10 steps that I do every time I take a listing. Now, for those of you who are selling agents who are listening to me now going, you know what, I'm just not one of those listing sales executives. Great. Here's what I would advise. It's a great idea for you to have at least a small listing inventory. Do 1 or 2. You know what's exciting about your expertise is you're great working with those buyers. So when you take a listing and you attract those buyers from doing that proactive work around the neighborhood, you're amazing at tying down those buyers and creating new business. So at least give it a shot. You don't have to build a ton of listing inventory, but focus on an area, something you'd like, and a price range you're comfortable in, and build at least a little bit of listing inventory. And finally, I want you to focus on and measure your success by remembering the 3 C's. Okay? Here are the 3 C's. First, conversion. I want you to keep a focus on how are you converting. So now you have this listing, you've got your steps. How you doing when you get calls, when you get interaction either from the web, when you meet someone face to face? How are you at converting them from just an individual that's a nice person to your client going forward? Connection, building that rapport, that connection with those people that not only do you have the potential to do business with them, but everyone that they know. So you're building that relationship. And last but certainly not least, closing. Closing for that opportunity. Closing for additional business, tying it into the ultimate goal of a minimum of 2 closings for every listing you take. Have a great week, everybody, and stay productive. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.